This tutorial outlines the benefits of a large and varied network on LinkedIn, how to connect with people, and how to grow your network on LinkedIn. So a fundamental element of LinkedIn is your network or connections. You can see how many connections you have either on your profile or in your profile summary box from the left. Having a diverse network is really valuable, and I'll talk a bit about why in a second. If you're just starting out on LinkedIn, I'd aim for an absolute minimum of 50 connections. Sometimes when I say that, people look a bit horrified, but actually if you spend a minute thinking about how many people you know, it will be far more than 50. And again, the point of LinkedIn is, although it's a professional network, doesn't mean you can only connect with people that you know in a professional capacity. So you should, in fact, connect with anyone and everyone that you already know, regardless of the capacity in which you know them. So that might be friends, it might be family, it might be course mates, it might be people you've worked with previously or know from any other capacity of your life. One of the real benefits of LinkedIn is that it makes your extended network visible to you, i.e. not just the people that you're connected to, but the people they're connected to as well. And this can be really, really useful, as I'll talk more about in some of the other tutorials. But for example, if you're looking at a company page, it's really easy to see whether anyone you know knows anyone working there. And that's obviously a great way of getting introductions, etc. So that's part of the reason why a large and varied network is useful. It's worth just spending a minute explaining degrees of connection on LinkedIn. So when you're looking at people, they have numbers next to them. So first, that means you're connected to that person, i.e. one of you has invited the other to connect and the other's accepted, like Facebook friends. Second means you share at least one connection in common. These are really useful. You can see who your shared connection is and could ask them to introduce you. Third means you're connected to somebody who is connected to someone who is connected to that person. It's a bit more complicated and not so useful because you can't see all the individuals in the connection chain. Group, you're both members of at least one of the same groups. You can message these people without having to connect for free, so that's quite useful. And anyone else falls outside of your network, basically anyone who doesn't fall into any of the above categories. Apparently, when you try and look at these people, you have limited profile visibility, although there is a workaround for this. So how to connect with people on LinkedIn? The easiest and most straightforward way is just to search for people in the main search box that you already know. So search by name. It might be that the person you're looking for comes up there, in which case you could just hit that, or there might be lots of them, in which case hit the search. One really important point to stress here is that when you are connecting with people on LinkedIn, firstly, don't use any of these little connect boxes that come up in search results. And secondly, it's really worth sending connection requests only from the desktop version of the site as opposed to any other apps. The reason I say this is that often the apps or these little connect options don't give you the option or the possibility of adding a personal note with a connection request, i.e. they just send the default. Whereas what you should do is always add a little bit of a note telling that person why you want to connect, reminding them of who you are, how you know them, whatever the case may be. The only 100% surefire way of always having that as an option is to use the desktop version, click onto their full profile first, and then hit the connect button from there. That brings this option up, and then I can add a note. So it doesn't need to be long, in fact it can't be, it's only 300 character limit, but just a bit reminding them about how you know them or why you want to connect if you don't know them. So in addition to looking for people by name, there are various options under the My Network tab. So it will show you any invitations you've received, suggest people you might know, and also gives you the option to import like email address books, etc. Personally, I wouldn't recommend doing that, and the reason being that that would just end up sending a standard connection request to everyone in your email address book. Most of us don't even have those, or if you do, chances are that the person email address for LinkedIn might be different to the one that you've got, and it doesn't give you the option to personalise them. So as I said, just always search for people by name is the best option. The more you use LinkedIn and the more people you connect with, the better your suggested contacts will be. Again, don't hit the connect buttons from here, but click through to their full profile first and then send the invitation from there. In summary, a large and varied network on LinkedIn is really valuable. Think broadly and connect with anyone and everyone you already know, regardless of the capacity in which you know them. Always try to add a personal note to any connection requests you send, and continue to build your network with new people you meet and through joining groups, etc. Learn more about LinkedIn by viewing the other tutorials on our YouTube channel, the LinkedIn Students website, or by attending one of our LinkedIn labs that take place during term time. details of which can be found on mycareer.leeds.ac.uk. Finally, a reminder that we're here to help you with any careers-related inquiry, either during or after your time at Leeds, so please do not hesitate to get in touch.